Welcome to the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Tuesday, June 13th. This is Gina McGuire. Over the next 24 hours, we'll continue to see cold and wet conditions across the northern and northeastern section of the Great Basin as this strong area of low pressure moves through. However, we will see a return of much warmer and drier conditions as we move later in this week and especially this weekend into early next week. Over the last 24 hours, we've seen good amounts of precipitation, mainly across Idaho into far northern Nevada, with some lighter amounts into northern Utah and into Wyoming. We've also seen very cold temperatures, with many areas, even in the valleys, down near freezing in the northern third of the Great Basin. We've seen light initial attack across the area, but still a few larger fires over parts of northern Utah. Over the last 7 days, the precipitation has mainly been focused in the north and on the eastern side of the Great Basin, with lighter showers over parts of western Nevada, with again drier conditions persisting over the southern two-thirds of the Great Basin. Over the last 30 days, what we've seen as a whole has been largely below normal, with little or no precipitation in southern Nevada and parts of the Arizona Strip, and well below normal precipitation over western areas. If we look at the ERC conditions for today, we can see that ERCs have been going down across the area due to this cold and wet system that's been moving through, however are still above the 50th or 70th percentile, and some areas above the 80th percentile in the Arizona Strip and southern Utah, as drier and warmer conditions have continued. However, we will see again a warm-up over the Great Basin over the next week, therefore ERCs will be going up region-wide and will largely be above the 50th or 70th percentile over the southern half of the Great Basin, likely by this weekend. Looking at 10-hour fuel moisture, you can see the response to the cold and wet conditions. Fuel moistures have really come up over the northern half of the Great Basin, but have still remained very low over southern Nevada, southern Utah, and the Arizona Strip. The satellite loop from this morning shows this strong area of low pressure is now located over the northern Rockies and will continue moving eastward. However, still wraparound precipitation and clouds and very cold temperatures will continue today across Idaho, the northern half of Utah, parts of northeast Nevada, and Wyoming. However, we will see ridging of high pressure move in as we move through the rest of this week and next week. We will continue to see some storm systems move across the far northern areas of the Great Basin, as you can see depicted just off the west coast, and that will bring occasional showers to mainly Idaho and Wyoming over the next few days before drier conditions take hold across the area. Now looking at the weather pattern by later this afternoon and this evening, you can see how that area of low pressure swings to the northeast, still keeping some showers later today over northern parts of Wyoming and into Idaho, with dry conditions further south. Significant fire potential will remain low across the northern two-thirds of the area and still low to moderate over the southern portion of the Great Basin as those drier conditions continue. Today, relative humidity will be decreasing across Nevada, with humidity back into the teens in most areas, and this will extend further east across most of Utah, with the exception of the higher elevations, and also Idaho into Wyoming RHs will remain quite a bit higher. We still will have some windy conditions today to deal with, especially across northern and far northeast areas of the Great Basin, with much lighter winds further south and west. As we move into Wednesday, this low is now well to the northeast. However, we do have another weak system that will be moving into the northwest, which will still keep some cloud cover and maybe a few showers across Idaho, but still much drier conditions over the rest of the Great Basin. You can already see on Wednesday some areas for fire potential increasing to the yellow category over parts of eastern Nevada as those warmer and drier conditions return. Also, relative humidity will be quite low across most of the area with the exception of parts of Idaho and Wyoming. However, winds will be decreasing across the area, therefore the typical low to moderate winds are expected by Wednesday region-wide. By Thursday, that system moves a little bit further east that moved into the northwest, bringing a little bit better chances of showers and some thunderstorms to the central Idaho mountains, possibly into far northern Nevada. However, the southern half of the Great Basin will still remain very dry, with relative humidity decreasing and mostly moderate fire potential in the far south. RHs area-wide will generally be below about 10% over the southern half of the area and about 15 to 20% RH further north. However, as that system moves in the northern areas, winds will be increasing again on Thursday, with some gusts around 25 or 30 miles per hour. However, again, RHs and some showers will occur and be a little bit higher across Idaho. Looking at the overall forecast amount of precipitation, you can see where the bulk of the precipitation is located, and this is mainly accounted for what we'll see today across Idaho, Wyoming, and northern Utah, but also we'll see again a few of those showers return by Wednesday and Thursday in the far north. As we move into Friday, we'll still keep precipitation and cloud cover over Idaho into far northern Nevada, northern Utah, and Wyoming as those systems push by to the north. However, continued hot and dry conditions further south, with fire potential on the rise over southern areas of the Great Basin. However, as we move into this weekend and early next week, a stronger ridge of high pressure will build. Therefore, we'll see warming temperatures and dry conditions region-wide by Saturday. And by Sunday, temperatures really start to heat up as the ridge amplifies over the west. We'll also see very dry conditions, and we'll see a more significant change to our fire potential across the Great Basin from south to north. By Monday and Tuesday, temperatures will be reaching in the upper 90s in many of the lower elevations of most of Nevada and Utah, and near 110 or 115 over far southern areas in the low elevations. So after seeing a very cold trough of low pressure for mid-June move through the area, we're seeing a very strong ridge take hold with temperatures well above normal as we go into next week. Overall forecast amounts of precipitation for the next 7 days, again, are largely attributed to what we'll see today and over the next few days in the far north, with very dry conditions continuing over the rest of the area. If we look a little bit further ahead into the end of June, we see continued above normal temperatures with very dry conditions, especially in the northern part of the Great Basin. That concludes our briefing for today. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us. Thank you for listening.